In this small documentary, we are going to be talking about mental health. Have you ever asked yourself if mental health could be actually hereditary? Well, we will be diving into a specific field of psychology and psychiatry to get the answer. First, we have to know that mental illnesses affect how a person feels, acts, and also how they think. It changes their behavior, their cognition, and emotional regulation. These disorders can affect largely how a person feels and lives. In this investigation, we used a quantitative approach. We chose a large number of people between 18 and 22 years old to make some questions. We wanted to get as many people as possible to respond our questions. But before showing you our results, we want to get into the investigation part. So, if you didn't know, there are various mental illnesses. There are some that can be inherited because they have a tendency to run in some families. But there is a misconception because these mental illnesses can't be 100% hereditary. There are so many factors that go into a mental illness. If you have had some bad life conditions, if you suffer from poverty, violence, or a disability, maybe inequality, you will have a bigger predisposition to get a mental illness. Sometimes it is also the environment you grow up in. So, just a gene variant can't decide if you have a mental illness or not. But that's why we need to investigate more and get more information about the relation of the genes and mental illness, because there are so many things that still have to be discovered. So, for our questions and our results, our first question was, do you think mental illnesses are hereditary? So, 25 people voted for yes and 8 for no. Another question was, have you ever known someone with a mental illness? And these were the results. The next question was if you suffered from a mental issue, and 17 people answered yes. We asked if they had ever sought help in relation to their mental health, and 20 people said yes and 10 no. Then we asked if they had ever taken psychiatric medication, and 20 people said no and 8 yes. We asked them to answer if they had answered yes in the past question. So if they had been medicated, we asked them if there was a family history of mental illnesses. So actually, the majority had had some type of family history. And the last question was if they knew someone who took medication for their mental health. And the answers were mostly yes, as you can see. So, a lot of people suffer from mental health problems. If we had all the results of these studies, there are so many things and new things that could be explored with it. Some of those could be that the results can take us to make better medication for the mental illnesses. Another one is that mental illnesses could be detected earlier and they could be treated before they become like a real trouble. There will also be like an improvement in identifying like the genetic factors that contribute to the development of the mental health issues. And researchers can pinpoint the specific like genes that are associated to anxiety or depression, schizophrenia. So all this knowledge will like enhance our understanding of the biological mechanisms of the underlying disorders. These can also help get like a personalized treatment approach, and it will help like develop new strategies by examining like the individual genetic makeup, and the healthcare providers will be able to identify genetic variations that might impact their responses to different medications. So it will help people a lot. Also, genetic research can help develop new therapies and interventions for mental health conditions. It will be by identifying the specific genetic targets And researchers can explore like new drugs and new innovative treatment approaches. So, if you ask yourself how this can be applied in technology or maybe science, life decisions, or policies, here are some of the examples how it can be applied. So, scientifically, there will be better medications and new treatment. And another scientific development could be finding like a way to change the specific genes before the baby is even born. There could also be more regulations as to how to treat a patient or kids so they aren't predisposed to mental illnesses. And there would also be more technologically advances to find mental illnesses even before these issues present themselves in people. It will also promote a collaboration among various scientific disciplines like genetics, neuroscience, psychiatry, psychology. And this interdisciplinary approach fosters new insights and perspectives, and it will facilitate advancements in the field. It would also encourage like the sharing of genetic data and resources, leading to larger sample sizes and more findings. Like it would help a lot. Also, just imagine how this all would change the future. This will be such a big impact on the world. In my opinion, the most important change will be in society. The stigma around mental health will be reduced, and people will be more informed and less scared to seek out for help. There will be so much more access to information about mental health, and people will have more opportunities to get help. Also, as technology advances, medication will go down in price and it will be better, and more people will be able to afford it because right now it's very expensive. Like, suicidal rates could go down drastically. There would be so much more solutions for people to get better. Also, ongoing research in neuroscience and brain imaging techniques holds so much promise for understanding the neurobiological underpinnings of mental health disorders. So, as technology improves, we can also expect more detailed insight into the brain's mechanisms, like involving conditions like anxiety and schizophrenia. Also, the rise of like digital technology and mobile apps will open new avenues for mental health. There will be more supports and more interventions. Teletherapy and like mobile apps, virtual reality will offer opportunities for remote monitoring, assessments, and treatment. Technology will enhance the accessibility and affordability and the convenience and mental health services. So it will make them so much more available to individuals who may face barriers to traditional interpersonal care. Obviously, there will always be some detractors of the work. For example, religious people, because religion isn't as open to gene modification, because because religion doesn't blame genes. They believe that God makes us perfect and they sometimes don't believe in it. Also governments, because they know that will have to be mental health will have to be a part of healthcare system, and it will be more expensive for the governments. And another detractor will be like very traditional households, because sometimes they don't even believe in mental health issues, or they don't think as it of a like a big deal. But even with people against it, I think it's such an important and such an interesting topic, and we need more information around it.